Hello and welcome to Dotto Tech. The iPod is a phenomenon, and marketing students will be studying it for ages to come. It's one of those once-in-a-generation product that defines an era. Now, unlike one-hit wonders like the hula hoop or the chia pet, the iPod is far more than a flash in the pan. It's evolved and grown with each successive update. Well, today's show is going to be iPod Palooza, and just in time since Christmas is right around the corner. So we'd better get going. I want to show you what makes the iPod so special, unique, and so darn compelling. Now, iPods come in three forms. You got your Shuffle, little guy, the Nano, and the iPod itself. Now, each holds progressively more music. Shuffle holds about 240 songs, which, if you do the math, is about 13 hours of music. That's a lot of music. The Nano, between 1,000 and 2,000 songs, and the iPod itself holds between 7,500 songs in the 30 gig version and 20,000 songs in the 80 gig version. That's more music than I have, but people use their iPods for a lot more than just music these days. You can also watch video, TV, you can listen to talking books, you can listen to podcasts, you can also store your calendar and all of your appointments and your contacts on your iPod. But allow us to take a step back and talk about how we get all of these songs, all this content onto our iPod itself. Now, it all starts with the computer and iTunes, which is the software engine that marries our music, our media, our computer, and the iPod to each other. Now, there are other media managers out there, and every single MP3 player ships with one. For example, Microsoft includes Windows Media Player with all Windows operating systems. Now, all these other media managers are pretty good, but none are as good as iTunes. I'll show you why iTunes is special. Like all of Apple's iLife applications, iTunes integrates completely with the other iLife applications on the Mac. And it's also the only iLife application that's also available on a PC. Now, besides integrating with the other iLife applications, iTunes also integrates perfectly with the iPod, and that's where the magic begins. So I want to show you iTunes. I'm going to run it today on my MacBook, but everything I'm going to show you is exactly the same as if you were running it on a PC. First and foremost, iTunes is our digital music library and our digital music player. Now, when we buy or copy music with iTunes, the music is brought here and stored in the iTunes music library. On the left-hand side are our different media types that we can have in the library. So we have music, movies, TV shows, podcasts, and radio. Now, in the middle, all the songs are listed. So as we import songs, they appear here in the center. And organizing all of our songs is one of the most important jobs that iTunes has to do. And how we actually manage all of our songs is through things called playlists. Now, you can think about playlists as kind of like the mixtapes that we used to make in the car. If you used to have a cassette tape in a car, you remember making mixtapes so you could listen to all your favorite songs. It used to be quite an arduous process making our mixtapes. Now, making playlists as easy as can be. I'm going to create a new playlist for dancing music. I feel the need to do some dancing. So it's first called an untitled playlist. I'm going to change its name to Dance, because it's all about dancing. And then I'm going to choose my favorite dance tunes to add. And of course, if we're going to be dancing, we've got to start with the Cheetah Girls. So the party has just begun. I take it and I drag it over my dance playlist. And now, there it is. It's in the playlist. It's that easy to add more songs. Then when I'm on my iPod later on and I feel like dancing, all I have to do is select the playlist and it'll automatically play all my dance music. It's that easy to create your playlist. And that control over our library, as your library of songs grows, becomes very important. Now, how do we go about getting songs in the first place? That's really where people start with iTunes. So you've just launched iTunes for the first time. Now you've got this whole collection of CDs, and it looks like a fairly daunting task to import all those CDs into our computer. Actually, it's easy as can be. You take your CDs one at a time, you pop them in, and iTunes will automatically recognize that there's an audio CD in. As a matter of fact, it'll go beyond that. It will look out on the internet and find the database information about the CD that you just put in. It'll find who the musicians are, it'll get all the names of the songs, the length of the songs, any cover artwork, and it will bring it all in and allow you to import all of that along with the music itself. So it says, do you want to import the CD super hits? Yes, I do. And just like that, I'm converting from CD form into digital form all of Roy Orbison's greatest hits. And I don't have to go in and type in the name of each song and put in the time of each song, that sort of stuff. It's all done for me automatically. Now, once it's done, then all those songs are available for me to add to playlists, and they'll be copied over onto my iPod so that I can listen to them and enjoy them whenever I want. That's just the beginning of what iTunes does. That's the library function. The other big area of iTunes is the iTunes Store, which is access to the biggest music store you have ever seen. Just like walking into a huge music superstore, when you visit the iTunes store right within iTunes, you can access and purchase all sorts of audio content. And you've got the most current releases, the biggest hits, the top 10 lists of songs and albums, all available. If we scroll down, we also have the ability to pre-order any music that's about to be released in the coming week. You can listen to samples of all the songs and all the CDs. You can read reviews and other reviews from other people. You can find out what other people are listening to. All of that is available right here at the iTunes Music Stores. And not just for music, but we can also find information and be able to download music videos, audio books, talking books, podcasts, which I'll talk about more in a minute, games for your iPod, games like Pac-Man on your iPod you can play, and also short films. Now in other markets, you can also download TV shows and movies, and as that licensing becomes available in Canada, we'll be able to do that sort of thing up here as well. What I really want to show you right now is the podcast area, though, because that's my favorite current area. Now, podcasts are kind of like audio magazines. They're dynamic content. They're constantly being updated, and they're on a broad variety of topics. Now, where podcasts are really growing in popularity is in the commuter crowd. All of us who have to spend between 45 minutes and 2 hours a day in the car going to and from work, listening to the radio doesn't cut it anymore. So iPods have become very popular. People listen to their music in the car, and there's a lot of different ways to interface our iPod with our car stereo. We can either hardwire it in, or we can use little FM transmitters to be able to send the music through our stereo system. And some cars even have little iPod receivers built in. That's great for listening to music, but it's even better for listening to podcasts. And if we take a look here in the podcast area, we see that they've got all sorts of different categories, from arts, business, comedy, education, all that sort of stuff. As well, in the podcast area, if we go over to the right-hand side, we see the top-rated podcasts, what people are listening to. In this case, it's Time Magazine. But also up here, we should be proud, lots of different CBC radio podcasts are very popular. Let me show you how you search and source podcasts. Mondays is Comedy Mondays for Steve, so I'm going to download my comedy podcast. And a lot of comedians are actually making a name for themselves through their iTunes podcasts. Ask a Ninja, they're pretty funny guys. We can download them here. Tuesdays might be business days. I'm going to download business information on Tuesdays, and I can listen to Business Week or Time Magazine, the Wall Street Journal. All of these prestigious publications do podcasts as well, and we can subscribe or download to them. Feeling a little bit undereducated, want to enhance your education? If we go into the education area, you can upgrade some of your skills. For example, I need to polish up my French. I'm going to learn French by podcast. Actually, I'm not sure if podcast is a French word. I guess I'll have to study to find out. But here we can see that I can download individual lessons just by clicking on the lessons themselves, or I can subscribe. If I subscribe to any podcast, whenever a new episode of that podcast is released, it's automatically downloaded into my iTunes Music Library. Once it's in my iTunes Music Library, all that it takes to get it onto my iPod is me syncing my iPod. And how we sync our iPod is we just plug it in. When we plug it in, two things happen. The first thing that happens is the iPod starts to charge, which is good, so you have juice. The other thing that happens is all of the information that's in the iTunes Music Library is transferred over to the iPod. So I don't actually have to do anything special to copy the information over. It happens automatically when I plug the iPod in. Once you've played with and explored iTunes, you will better understand what makes the iPod so successful. The total integration between these two products is the most important factor, and it's the most difficult for competitive products to overcome. Its brilliant design, along with Apple's hardware and software integration, is what makes the iPod the must-have tech toy of our generation.
Want more information about the items we highlight on the show? Then make sure you drop by our website at dottotech.com. You'll find details about the products we cover, episode descriptions, and lots of cool features.